Welcome back to the Elite Trainer Academy, brought to you by Mind Pump. Today, we have Sal Di Stefano back on the show. This episode is all about client retention. So we talk about how to become more likable, how to be a chameleon to match the energy of your clients. And finally, we talk about the importance of having hard conversations with your clients, as well as how to approach those. This is a really great episode. I think this is one of the most important skills to develop and understand as a personal trainer. So you're really going to love this episode. If you do, please share. Enjoy the show. All right, Sal, why do so many trainers struggle with retaining clients?
That's a good question. That's actually the second biggest challenge I would say that personal trainers have is client retention. So the first challenge is getting clients, getting leads. How do I get people in front of me? And then how do I convince people of my value so that they can pay me, $75, $100 an hour to train them, especially for a long period of time. The second problem is the one you're mentioning, which is retention. What a lot of trainers experience is this kind of up and down feeling throughout their training career, where they'll get their book filled and they'll be like, oh my God, I have tons of clients. I think I'm training 35 sessions a week, like I'm totally good. And then they'll lose a few or more, and then they'll have to go out and try and find more clients. And over time, this can get taxing. It can feel exhausting. Every few months, I got to go and try and get new clients. And I get that. Most businesses are like that. Most businesses, you got to keep getting new customers. But what's unique about personal training and coaching is when you get really good, you build a client base and they stay with you. Okay. And this is true. Like, you talk to any successful trainer or coach who's been doing this for 10, 15 years, who's built a very solid business, ask them how long their average client's been with them. And it's like 7 years, 8 years, 9 years. I had the same clients towards the back half of my career that were with me for about that long, about 8 or 9 years. They just didn't leave. So the question you're asking, well, how do I maintain that retention? It's not results. I know people right out the gates will think it's great results. That's actually not the key to retention. Now, results is important. Obviously, somebody who hires you to improve their strength or their mobility or fat loss, they're going to want to see that. And that's very important. But if you're training someone for 9 years, how much results are you going to get, right? If your initial goal was to lose 20 pounds, we lose the 20 pounds. Let's say it takes us even a year. We're not going to lose any more weight. And so I think a lot of trainers will get stuck in the cycle of, I got to keep producing results in this person. I got to keep showing them strength gains and mobility gains and fat loss gains. And although there's some truth to that in the sense that you want to show this person improvements in different areas and you want them to keep coming back for a lot of those improvements, that's not the key to retention. The key to retention is, do they like to come see you twice a week? Do they like to be in that environment twice a week? And there's a few things that can help with that. One is being likable. It wouldn't have been a shocker to me if you told me, again, at the end of my career, that a majority of my clients continued to train with me, not necessarily because of the workout, they needed me to train them, but rather they just liked to be with me during those workouts. So that's important. The other thing is, whatever facility you're working in, whether it's a private studio or a big gym, you want to create a culture in there that's encouraging. CrossFit highlighted this, by the way. Like, one of the reasons why CrossFit came out of nowhere and exploded and influenced the entire industry. So CrossFit had a massive influence on the industry. Before CrossFit, it was rare to see people squatting and deadlifting. After CrossFit, lots of people squat and deadlift. And these were not great gyms. These were like warehouse, garage gyms, and they were out competing or doing things that the big, beautiful, expensive, big box gyms couldn't do. And what it was the camaraderie. And so you want to create that in your gym. Trainers often create a bubble with themselves and their client. It's like, my client comes in and it's me and you, and we're over here working out. And you, my client, don't know John's clients or Susan's clients. In fact, you don't even know John or Susan. I'm protective of you in a way that is actually detrimental. I'm creating this bubble around you. That will crush your retention. What you want is, you want that person to come in and feel like they're coming in your home, and everybody there is a part of your family. So my clients knew the other trainers' clients. My clients knew all the trainers. Oftentimes there were conversations in the studio that were happening with multiple clients and trainers while we were training our independent clients. I knew every trainer's client that would walk in the door. If I was with a client and somebody else's client walked in, I would always say their name out loud as they were at the front door. We would organize things with the clients to do together, whether it be hikes or a Christmas party or a dinner. When you build that camaraderie and that culture, plus you make the environment when they come in that they enjoy just to see you, your retention explodes. It absolutely explodes, and people don't stop. They don't stop coming. And so a good training career is actually incredibly stable. It's got very little turnover. And again, you can ask Adam and Justin this, that towards the end of their career, it was like they had their clients. That was it. They didn't have to worry about getting new clients.
Yeah. So I want to dig in a little bit deeper on those two things, being likable and then creating community. Starting with the first, being likable, it's kind of an intangible thing. Like, how do you get better at being likable?
Yeah, good question. Great question. So I think it starts with really liking people. If you want to be a successful trainer, you should find people, all people, interesting. Okay? Because you're going to be, there's always people out there that you're going to click with because they're like you. They like the same things. You have things in common. But as a trainer, you're going to train lots of different people. You're going to train people with different political beliefs, different cultures, different energies, of course, different age brackets, different lifestyles or lives. So when you find people very interesting, it's not hard to like them. It's also not hard to be likable because you're curious about them. You want to know about their life and what they're doing and what's your job like and tell me about today and why do you feel that way about something. I think once you've built a solid relationship, like 4 years, okay, so not like 4 months, but like 4 years, then it's okay to let them know how you feel about certain things. But in the beginning, you're a chameleon and you're really matching that individual. A really good trainer is an excellent chameleon who makes that person, when they come in, they feel like you and them have a lot in common. Like, I like Kyle. I talk about my life and he's super interesting and I think he feels the same way I do. And that's what you want. Remember, your job is to help this person improve their health through the means of fitness. Your job is to help them create a relationship with fitness where they enjoy it. You're the conduit of that. Your job is not to be who you are all the time, so I'm going to be that right now. It's like, no, I need to be a chameleon and create that enjoyability. And so with some clients, like, our conversations revolved around music because that's what they were into, or sports because that's what they were into, or economics, or medicine, or whatever. That was my job. So the way that I took it was, when this person's coming in, I want to give them a great experience, and so it's really all about them. And so I think that's how you become likable. It's like, if you come into my house, I'm going to make you feel as welcome and loved as possible, as comfortable and loved as possible to be who you are. And so when your clients are telling you all kinds of different things and they're not afraid to tell you their opinion, you're doing a good job because they don't feel like they have to hide anything or whatever. That's where that likability comes from. But the root of it really is that you just find people interesting. And I find people fascinating. Yeah. I find people that are very different from me, I find very fascinating. So it wasn't hard for me to ask lots of different questions and kind of create that atmosphere.
That was a really unexpected part of personal training for me. I wasn't really expecting that. You think you're getting into training, like it's all nutrition and it's all exercise science and all that. That was actually surprisingly one of my favorite parts about training.
Yes.
And I remember when I kind of had that shift, when I first started training in a big box gym, our sessions were only like 30 minutes, which I just couldn't stand. I hated that.
Yeah. Too short.
It's too short because then it kind of is just focused on the training and the nutrition and stuff because you have to get all that in. But I remember when I switched away from that and I was able to do longer hour-long sessions, that like had a huge difference in my relationship with clients because I had more time to ask them about their interests.
Look, here's a fact. I'll paint it real clear, okay? If someone is coming to see you, let's say average client will see a trainer twice a week, right? Some once a week, some 3 days. But the average client will see a trainer 2 days a week in person. That's 2 dedicated one-on-one hours a week. If they see you if you do a good job and they see you for 5 years, okay, they're going to spend more dedicated time with you than most people in their family
Yeah.
Maybe just their husband and their kids, but they're going to spend more time with you than they are with their friends because it's dedicated. Like they see people at work, but it's not like one-on-one, you and I, we're just hanging out. So if they don't like you, it doesn't matter how good of a trainer you are with workouts. Like they're coming to spend an hour with you 2 days a week for years. It's the most important thing. I've seen trainers who aren't the best trainers. I mean, they weren't dangerous. They just didn't have a lot of knowledge, but they were so likable in the sense that they were incredibly successful. People just loved being around them. And again, it wouldn't be a shocker to me. Like, again, I had clients for training for 9 years, 10 years. She's not coming in here because she needs me to train her. She knows what to do. I've been training her. She's a black belt at this point at her workouts because I've been training for so long. Why is she coming in? She's coming in to see me. Yeah. That's the reason.
This is, when we're going through the whole process right now of interviewing trainers, trying to grow our own team here. This is always like what I'm looking for. And I think it kind of like takes some of the people that I'm interviewing back a little bit because they're coming in ready to like, flex their exercise muscle and their, their knowledge of nutrition and all of this stuff. And it's like, that's almost never even part of the conversation. It's, are you likable? Of course, other character traits too, but like, this is a big piece of it because, as a fitness manager, it's like, I could teach all the exercise stuff. What's really hard to teach somebody, I think is, these kind of soft skills that we're talking about.
Yeah. If you don't really love people, I said this last time I was on your show. If you don't really like people, this isn't for you. The other day, you told me, I think it was you that told me something, because we're stuck in the studio. So for people watching or listening to this right now, Adam, Justin, myself, Doug, we're in the studio most of the time we're here. We're not out on the workout floor, out on the floor. So we have this little box, the studio, soundproof, lights, the whole deal for production. Then outside the studio, if you're watching this, if you ever make it down here, let's say you train with one of our trainers, it's mostly a gym. So it's mostly this big kind of gym area. And now we have a second part to it. And that's the workout. And we're not out there. Okay. So the other day we were talking and we've been communicating lately because we're building this training department. It's a relatively new training department, but it's doing exceptionally well. Kudos to you, Kyle. You're doing a phenomenal job. And one of the things that we tried to communicate was this culture thing. And I said, if a client walks in to meet with, let's say, Marcelo or Corinne, and if that client doesn't know everybody that's working here, that's a problem. They need to come in and all of us need to treat them. They're all of our clients, whether you work as a trainer or you're an editor or you're working as my executive assistant or whatever, right? And so we started communicating this early on. And you told me something that made me feel I was so excited to hear it. We were having a meeting and you said, oh yeah, I think it was Cole. Cole had a client who had just hit a PR and the whole, everybody out there applauded. Everybody was a part of it. The editors were part of it. Jerry in the front was a part of it because Cole celebrated and included everybody. What an incredible, that's the culture that you want to be a part of because you're not, as a trainer, you're not going to turn, the vast majority of clients are not going to turn into fitness fanatics. They're not going to fall in love with fitness like you do. Like most people don't want to do this for their career, but they want to do this as a way to improve their life. So you're not going to get them to fall in love with fitness, but you may get them to fall in love with the culture and the experience. And then the feeling that fitness provides that makes the things that they really love even better. And if you do that, that's like the magic recipe. And then they never want to stop. They never want to stop. You become, as a trainer, a part of their monthly budget expense. This was what it was like for my clients, Justin's clients, Adam's clients. We've talked about this. Like my clients were like, oh yeah, you're in our budget. You're in our monthly budget. This is what when we look at our budget, it's like, oh yeah, we train with Sal. You go 2 days a week, I go to one day a week or whatever. But that right there will give you the best retention. It's not the results. Trainers think it's the results. Results are important, but I had so many clients where, again, this goes back to some of the other stuff we talk about. You have to meet clients where they're at, and sometimes people are not ready to take the big steps that produce the results. For some people, just showing up twice a week is a big deal. They weren't working out at all before. Their diet is eat whatever. They don't have good fitness and health habits. So just showing up is like a really big deal. Now, just showing up 2 days a week, they'll get some strength. They'll see some fitness improvements. But, you want to lose 40 pounds. You're probably not going to lose 40 pounds if all you now are doing is just strength training twice a week with me. You'll feel better. Your health will improve. But the 40-pound fat loss, you're not going to see. It's going to take diet, right? So I've had clients where it took them years, 2 years, 3 years before they really were ready to make those steps with diet, because diet can be very, very challenging. But why do they keep coming back? They don't lose 40 pounds. Why is he still coming here? He's coming here because he loves the experience. So that's why it's so important. So results are definitely important. But I think, I know this. I know a lot of trainers place results at the top of, this is what I must produce for my clients. Otherwise, I'm not going to have a successful business. And the problem with that is results are important. But if you think that's everything, you're going to push clients beyond what they're ready for. You're going to try to hype and over-motivate your clients so that maybe they do get some of those results, but then they can't sustain it. And then you have to manage a client who lost 30 pounds with you, but then gained 30 pounds with you. You know what happens when a client loses a ton of weight with you, but then gains it back and they're still with you? The odds that they're going to leave you skyrocket for a few different reasons. One is they may place the blame on you and be like, I lost it and gained it back. This is not working. Or more commonly, they're ashamed. And they're ashamed that they gained it back and they quit. They don't want to do it anymore. So placing results at the absolute top in terms of retention is a mistake. At the top of the list for retention is, do they love coming here? Is this a place they look forward to, whether they're tired, sad, depressed, anxious, doesn't matter. They look forward to showing up. And the way to make that happen is being likable and creating a culture where they come and they feel safe, they can breathe. They're like, yes, I'm here. It's one of my favorite places to be. If you can do that, your clients will never leave. Then that initial build your business part, that's the initial part of your business. And then that's it, you're good. And you've got this client base that stays with you forever.
Yeah. Earlier you mentioned how trainers tend to almost kind of create a bubble around them and their client.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? Because I've experienced that too. Like I can't explain why, but there's this feeling of like, I don't know, you want to make the client feel safe in the environment and stuff. Like what's happening there? Like, why is that such an instinct for trainers?
I think there's a bit of possessiveness, a natural protective feeling. My client, we're training. This is our space. We're in this part of the gym. I don't think it comes from a bad place. I think it comes from a good place. Now, of course, there are many clients, and I'm glad you said what you said, that feel uncomfortable. So I got that new client that's timid. I'm not going to yell out what she's doing to the other trainers across the gym to embarrass her. Okay? Right. But here's what I will do. When we get up and walk by that other trainer, I'll quietly introduce her. Hey, John, this is Susan. She's new here. She's just getting started. And John, who's a part of my team, who understands the culture, he's going to match that energy. Oh, really nice to meet you or whatever. And so because there were clients like that where, I remember one guy, tell a story. I had one guy who trained with another trainer. Later on, he trained with me. But initially, he trained with one trainer, and he had gone through this really scary, depressive episode. Like something happened. It was almost like a just overwhelming stress, and he got in this sudden, deep depression. And when he would come into the gym, and we had built this culture in our studio. She would turn the lights down, and we'd make sure it was timed at the right time. She would turn the lights down, and she would go to a corner of the gym because he was overstimulated. Light and noise was just overwhelming to him, right? So she did that with him. But you better believe that I made a point to walk over to him when it was okay, tap him on the shoulder. Hey, I'm glad to see you. Glad to see that you're here. He still felt welcomed. So you can definitely create that safe space for your client, but also make them feel welcomed and a part of something bigger than them. And then, of course, you have those clients where celebrating loudly is exciting. Like they just hit a PR and it's great to yell across the gym. Susan just hit 135 on the deadlift. And then everybody's like, yeah, or when I was in the big box gym, I'd make an announcement for the right client. I'd get on this thing, attention members, guests, please join me in congratulating so-and-so. And it would just be this exciting, wonderful culture. But yeah, that the other part of it, I think some trainers, this is just a terrible attitude to have, is a scarcity mindset, where it's like, my client, you can't talk to other trainers. I don't want you to leave me to go to other trainers. Nothing will get your retention to suck like treating them like they're just yours. It's ours. It's everybody. And yes, you're their trainer. You're ultimately responsible. But that scarcity mindset is silly, and it doesn't work. So, sharing stories, sharing tips and techniques. I'll paint the picture for you. This is the culture that you want. Imagine working in this gym. This is what it would be like, right? Like I'm in my studio, and over here, and this is true. I'm telling you, this is now a true picture of what I'm painting. This is what we had, right? Over there in the corner is an actual licensed physical therapist who's doing correctional exercise with a client. I have a bodywork specialist who's in the back who would occasionally walk out with the client to get the next client. So you would see her come in and come out sometimes. I'd have a chiropractor over here who would be adjusting people and working on people. Then you had me, who was kind of like the fitness guy, right? So I'm the fitness trainer. Then you got the other fitness trainer over there, but she's she's a triathlete. So I had a trainer that worked for me that was a triathlete. So now I'm training my client, and my client is talking about some clicking in her shoulder. So she's, when I press overhead, my shoulder clicks, and we do a couple things, and I'd say, hey, to my physical therapist, her name was Lori. Lori, do you have a second? She'd stand up. Hey, she's experiencing some clicking in her shoulder. Do you have any tips for me? And she'd tell her client, hold on one second. She'd come over, do a couple things. Hey, Sal, try this out. No problem. I'd help her out. That was the environment. Or my massage therapist would walk out because she'd be finished with her client. And I'd introduce her to my clients. Hey, my client is getting lots of tightness in their abductor on the right side. What kind of work do you think might help that? She'd say, oh, try foam rolling the side, or let me press on this area. Is that tight? And it was like an incredible. And then they would ask me things about the deadlift or the squat for their clients. Did that make the clients want to trade? And, did that make my client say, oh, I don't want to work with Sal? He asked her about why my shoulder was clicking. No, they became more loyal to me as a result. And it's just this culture that is just, plus think about this as a trainer. Isn't that a place you want to work in? Imagine working in an environment like that. Everybody elevates, and you get more referrals as a whole than you would on your own. So I can't stress this enough, not just from a retention standpoint, but from a building business standpoint, but also from do you want to enjoy where you work? When you create your bubble, and I've seen this before in gyms, I could walk in, and in 20 minutes of talking to people, I could tell when you have a scattered, disjointed fitness team where they're all kind of like doing their own thing, and I'm the mobility guy, and that's the bodybuilder guy, and we don't really talk, and I criticize what they're doing or whatever. You could tell right away, and I could tell you this culture isn't very conducive versus the one that I'm explaining.
Yeah. How do you create community in an online setting?
Yeah, that's a great question. Way more challenging.
Yeah.
But you do group Zoom meetings where people come in, and you could teach some things. Hey, Friday, I'm going to be talking about nutrition tips to improve satiety. And I'm inviting all my clients to come. It's totally free of charge. Everybody gets on there, and then you introduce them. Hey, everybody, thanks for coming. Look, you guys all got one thing in common. I'm your trainer. Susan, introduce yourself real quick. And then this is John, and I've been working with him for whatever. And then, hey, if you guys have any questions or whatever, next thing you know, they start talking to each other. By the way, if you guys want to share emails with each other to help each other out, in my experience, when you have support systems outside of your trainer, far more likely to be successful. And then you're fostering and encouraging that kind of a community. So you would do group Zoom meetings or group meetings or group emails. Hey, do you guys want to be part, or a group thread? That's another one. You can do this with WhatsApp. Hey, can I put you, I'm starting a group WhatsApp thread for clients for accountability. And we're actually all going to help each other be accountable. I'm going to be in there as well. Do you want to be in there? Yes. And then you introduce each other or each person to each other. And it creates that. And it's crazy. It's so wild. They will keep each other accountable. When people want to quit, your clients will, for lack of a better term, call them out or help encourage them. It's funny. I'd have clients that would come in, and after a while, they'd ask me something like, "Hey, where's Tony been?" "Oh, he's out of town right now for work or whatever." "Oh, I got to reach out to him." Or, "Hey, he kind of fell off." I'm going to reach out to him. The next thing I know, Tony walks back in. "What happened?" "Oh, Jen called me. She called me out, man. I haven't been coming in to work out or whatever." And it was like everybody's working to help each other to improve their health and fitness, and it dramatically improved the success.
Yeah, it's something that I've been thinking a lot about lately. Obviously, the majority of what we do is online. It's much more challenging, I've found.
Yes.
And I think this goes to the point that you guys always make on the podcast of a good online trainer is typically somebody who's spent a lot of time doing it in person.
Yeah.
I think if you don't have the experience doing it in person and building community in person, I think it is a lot more challenging online.
Yes, you are going. If you want to become a trainer and you go straight to online, you went to hard mode.
Yeah.
Right out the gates. It's much more challenging to be effective. It's much more challenging to have that kind of long-term retention online versus in person. So I think building those skills in person translate greatly to online, to the success online. Starting online is starting in hard mode. I do want to touch on one thing that we're doing here, Kyle, to help with this is we're starting, and we haven't even started this yet. I think we'll have the first one Saturday.
Yeah.
Where we're doing a group mobility class, and I think it's free, right? It's free. Yeah. It's for all the clients. So all the clients that our trainers work with can come attend a Saturday mobility class that one of our trainers is going to teach, and it costs nothing. Why are we doing this? We're doing this to help build this culture and community because 6 people may show up who don't normally see each other, maybe because they work out at different times with different trainers. Now they get to know each other. What do they have in common? They work out here at Mind Pump Media. They know they work with trainers that work together. And that, if those people start being consistent to the mobility class that we're not charging for, then their retention is going to go through the roof. They'll start, and it's funny, you'll start seeing clients have friendships and relationships with each other through fitness, which, is that going to help or hurt? It's only going to help. It's only going to help.
Yeah. One of the big reasons we decided that we wanted to do this was just more value. I mean,
totally.
Of course, the community thing I think is super important, but that actually wasn't even the original idea. That was kind of like, that fits right in line with something that we have been talking about lately, which is building the community. Really, the inception of that idea was like, we just want to provide more value to the clients that we have. What are some other things that you've seen trainers do to provide more value for their clients that maybe the average trainer might not be thinking of?
Always try to be encouraging. Try never to be discouraging. Always praise in public. And if there's a challenge, make it private. This is like leading a team. It's really no different than leading a business team. So when your client has a success, if appropriate, share it with them in front of other people, with other people. It makes people feel really good. When they're struggling, this is when it's private. This is when it's you and I, and we're talking about this. But you always want to be encouraging. Now, this doesn't mean you lie. So this is not, some people mistaken being encouraging for being deceitful. Like your client's not seeing any weight loss. So, I'm going to lie to them and I'm going to, here's what's happening. No, you be honest with them. Like, the diet part's really hard for you. That's a tough one. Now, how do I turn that into something that's encouraging? First off, I'm going to empathize and let them know that it's common. They're not alone. So it's like, if you're that person, Kyle, and you come to me, you're like, Sal, I've been with you for 6 months and the scale hasn't gone down. I'm like, yeah, I know, man. The diet part is the tough part for you. And I'll say, but you know what? It's tough for everybody. That's the hardest part, is the diet part. But let me just point a few things out to you. Over the last 6 months, your squat has gone up 40 pounds. The back pain that you talked about has gone down and you've have way more energy. So your quality of life is probably gotten a lot better, and we are seeing progress. The diet part is so hard though, Kyle. And I'll tell you what, be patient with yourself. The thing that gets in the way of people with this is always themselves. And oftentimes it's people getting so down on themselves that they give up and quit. Now, if you want to tackle this diet part with me, if this is something you're ready to do, I think I know what the first step is and we can start there. If you're not ready, don't worry about it. We're still progressing in other ways. So what I did is I took that, and it was all honest. It was all complete honesty, but it's encouraging for somebody to hear that. It's like, but it's all true, by the way, is showing up to work out with me twice a week, you're going to get an appropriate, effective workout. If I'm a good trainer, that's what's going to happen. That's easy. You're not with me 99% of the time. 99% of the time, you're not with me. You're at home, you're at work, whatever. The diet part is infinitely more difficult than the workout part. Like you train with me twice a week, you're getting the workout. We're getting you stronger. We're improving. The diet is way harder. So I am being honest, and I'm telling you the truth, and I'm empathizing with you because the truth is that is the most difficult part. But you could be like that with all of it. Hey Sal, my what's going on with my deadlift? It's just not going up. You know, look, you're working really hard. You are training your butt off. We're going to tackle this together. A lot of people find themselves in these kinds of plateaus. How would you feel about changing direction a little bit, just to take our mind off that a little bit? I think we can progress you in some other areas and maybe work on some things that I think are getting in the way. Notice it's encouraging the way I'm talking to you. A client wants to feel that. They want to feel comfortable. They want to feel seen. They don't want to feel shame, but they want to feel also encouraged. They want to feel encouraged by their trainer.
Those are tough conversations to have. Those are really tough. I think just like anything, it's a skill that you just develop the more you do it. In the early days of trying to develop that, like how do you, let's say that conversation doesn't go the way you want it to, maybe you don't communicate it, the way that you were planning to. How do you navigate that now? Like if you had, and I don't know if you have any specific examples of when you were trying to figure out how do I have these hard conversations. I know for myself, like there's definitely been times where I've gone into having a conversation like that with, okay, I'm going to be, encouraging, but kind of stern with like these specific things and, being honest with them. But then maybe I, come over the top too much and I'm like, too upfront and too stern. Like, how do you navigate that when the conversation doesn't quite go the way you intend?
Yeah, you can always back out and you can always apologize and be honest. You can always do that. You can always come back and say, "Oh, John, I came at you too hot. I get excited about this and I came at you way too hot. The truth is it's hard, man. It's really, really difficult. And my goal is to walk with you on this journey. And when you're ready, I'm here, brother. Until then, let's just keep working out together." Like you can always back out. But the key is to not do that in the first place. I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning, Kyle. I thought that and there were occasions of this where I'd hammer somebody because you're not getting results, so now I'm going to put it on you, type of deal. Thinking that would help people. Here's what it did, and I really feel terrible. To this day, I feel terrible about it. What it did is it discouraged people, and I probably discouraged some people to the point where they never tried again. And I feel terrible about that. There's one lady I've talked about a million times because I think about her whenever this conversation comes up. And she was the woman that she was tracking her food and, nothing was happening on the scale and it didn't add up. And then her husband, who was also my client on the side, told me, "Hey, Sal, she's not tracking everything. Like she's eating these things at night. I see her. She's not adding it in her food logs." And I'm like, "Oh, cool. I'm going to sit down with her and have this really hardcore conversation with her." And she cried. And I told her, "If you want results, you got to make this happen. You can't put this on me. This is all on you, blah, blah, blah." All the stuff you hear with those boot camp motivational, influencers now. Back then there wasn't that, but that's what I thought I was doing. She never came back, Kyle. She left and I felt, by the way, when she walked out the door, I felt so proud and satisfied with this conversation. Like, now she knows, like she's never came back. And I bet you she never went anywhere again. And I crushed her odds of any long-term success. Like, what am I thinking? At the root of this is it's not about me. It's not about me at all. It's about them. And how can I care about this person in a way that's going to truly help them? And if a person isn't ready to take that first step, pushing them over or kicking them in the back just hurts them. It doesn't help them at all. They have to make that first step. You just have to be the person that when they're ready to take it, they do it with you. More importantly, though, this is even more important. Are you the kind of trainer that a client can come to and tell you when they mess up? Or are you the trainer that they're embarrassed to tell that they messed up? If your trainer is so worried about letting you down that they start to lie to you, you lost.
Yeah.
You lost the battle. If your client comes to you with a mistake, with shame, because that's what always follows it. "Oh my God, last night I had a whole box of cookies." Or, "Yeah, I went on vacation. The workouts you wrote me, I didn't do a single one." If they come to you and they feel that shame, but the reason why they're bringing it to you is because you give them grace and you encourage them, you win. You win, man, because those battles eventually turn into success. And that's the key. And it took me too long. It took me too long to figure that out. And so I made a lot of mistakes in those early days. And I hope trainers and coaches watching this right now, I hope I'm doing a good job communicating this, because these people's, their quality of life is in your hands, literally. The difference between somebody having a lifelong relation, because remember, this is for life. You know, we're not talking about 30-day transformation, 90-day transformation, 6-month transformation. If I want you to do this forever, like that's the goal, right? So it's lifelong. If I can help you create that relationship with fitness where you want to do it for the rest of your life, that's the key. That's the goal. The goal isn't 90 days, 6 months. The goal is forever. And so patience, grace, honesty, leadership, guidance, like that's the key. And I hope people watching this can take away from that and understand that. And the beautiful side effect of that, Kyle, is a very successful business. So a lot of what you'll hear in our course, or I'm sure I know this on your podcast, is how to build a successful business. But the successful business, much of it is the side effect of what I'm talking about. If you become that person to these clients, and then if you really kick butt and you develop a team of trainers under you and you become that person for those trainers, success is like it's a guaranteed byproduct.
Yeah, I think, we get caught in, I know myself at least, I get caught into like a lot of the tactical kind of things of business and being a trainer, but I think that's the foundation of it is exactly what you're saying. And I want to highlight something that you said as well, that I found to be so important with client retention and client results is building that relationship where they come to you and like they're telling you when they're messing up. It's really, really hard to affect change with a client when you don't have the relationship built where they feel comfortable telling you when they didn't do the workout or when they didn't follow the plan with nutrition. Really powerful when you can build that relationship where they trust you enough and they have that relationship with you that they can bring those things up and talk to you about it. I think that what I found to be like the most effective way to build that was just sharing authentic stories and things about myself that I had a hard time with. Dude, that was game changer for me.
Listen, unless you're the perfect man or woman, which you're not, who are you? So now you're there to guide them.
Yeah.
And you can be honest. But you want that person to feel, I remember there was a turning point in my career where there was this clear turning point where if a client, before the turning point, if a client felt tired or stressed, they would cancel. Sal, I can't make it. I'm really overworked at work, or kids kept me up, last night. I'm too tired, so I'm just going to skip today's workout. Reasonable, totally reasonable. There's nothing wrong with that, right? I remember there was a turning point where I would get clients that would call me and say, hey man, it's been really stressful at work. Do you have time to see me today? What a difference. Yeah. Like what a tremendous difference that would make. By the way, let's just change this, the context a little bit, right? Think about going to work. Imagine working for a place where you get a good paycheck. That's nice. You get a good paycheck. You do a good job. That sounds great. Now imagine going to a job where you love the people you work for, you love the culture there, and you believe in the purpose so much. That's a place that you're going to go above and beyond. Imagine working for a boss where you could go to them and they're not going to judge you, and they're honest with you. They'll be honest with you, but they're not going to judge you when you come to them and say, man, yesterday was rough with my kids. I had a tough time. Now, I'll give you an example. Like client comes to me and they come in and says, hey, what's going on, John? Man, last night wasn't good. Oh, what happened, brother? Oh man, I was, had a tough time at work. I had a tough day at work, came home and ate an extra large pizza. Oh man, I'm sorry. Put my arm on his shoulder. That sucks, bro. How do you feel? Oh man, I feel like giving up. Don't give up. A lot of people make this, listen, this is a part of totally different versus the TV trainer who's like, you messed up, get back on your feet. Don't do it again. They're not going to come back. They're not going to come back if you keep doing that. Like the goal is to keep them coming back. The goal is to help guide them, but they have to be the ones to take the step. You're just the guide. You're the guide. You're the person that's guiding them. And you're the person that gives them the grace, because people don't give themselves grace, but you can give them that grace.